And here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Sony Xperia 5 Mark II. Now, I just received this from Sony for review purposes. I'm excited to share it with all of you because if you liked the Xperia 1 Mark II, this may also be on your shortlist. In fact, I know many of you were saying you were waiting for this device instead of the 1 Mark II. Now, it's a little less expensive, smaller, a little lower on the resolution side, but still packs all of the power of the Xperia 1 Mark II, and that's what makes it attractive. So it retails for roughly $950 US, has the same, I believe the exact same triple camera array as the Xperia 1 Mark II, 8 megapixel selfie camera. It has a full HD display. It is an OLED that's also HDR capable, 4,000 milliamp hour battery. It's powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, and it is IP65/68 rated. Zeiss branding, of course, NFC, all that good stuff. Let's crack this open and see what it looks like. So, first thing we see is the back of the device, made in Thailand, for those of you that are curious. Don't see that too often. NFC point right there. Again, the camera array looks identical. And then we have the display. And this was already open. It is a review unit. I believe this is 5G capable. We've got a headphone jack right here at the top, something you do not see anymore. It's rounded, unlike the Xperia 1 Mark II, which was a complete square. So this is, if you like curved corners, soft curves, then you're going to like this. Also really palm friendly, so that's another nice thing. Let me go ahead and remove the screen protector. Not sure if they were saving that for something. Let's see if it powers on. It looks like we've got our fingerprint scanner right here on the right side, which will double as your power button, volume rocker, a dedicated shutter button right there for taking stills. I would hope also for capturing video. That 8 megapixel selfie camera, your SIM card slot, which again, love that Sony does this. You don't need a pin. Storage is expandable, so that's a nice thing. Something that Sony does still get right, and I just love how easy that is. More manufacturers need to do this. And that's pretty much it. I see some mics, the cameras, and Type-C charging. I think it's limited to 18 watts, but I'm not positive. I'll find out through the course of the review. Let's see if we've got enough juice to power it on. It feels like we do. So let me put that down. And again, just to recap, 6.1-inch Full HD HDR OLED display, 2520 by 1080 res, so that's 449 pixels per inch. It's pretty solid. It comes in at 5 3/4 ounces, which I also think is pretty light. I mean, when you think about it, the Xperia 1 Mark II was about 6.5 ounces. Of course, Android 10 out of the box. The pixel density, though, it's a drop-off from the 1 Mark II, which had a 4K display, has a 4K display, and that's 643 ppi. But still, this is right in line with every other flagship phone on the market. Video capture, of course, 4K video capable. Internal storage, 128 gigs, and then we have 8 gigs of RAM. So it's half the amount of internal storage as what you'll find on the Xperia 1 Mark II. But is that really a big deal considering it's less expensive? And storage is expandable up to a 1 terabyte micro SD card. I mentioned the 4,000 milliamp hour battery. That's the exact same capacity you'll get out of the Xperia 1 Mark II. And this, as I mentioned, has 5G just like the Mark II, the 1 Mark II, but not in the States. So a lot of you were upset that I didn't mention that the rest of the world could enjoy 5G with their Xperia handset, unlike myself here in the States. But I'm mentioning it now. A 120 hertz refresh rate on here, which is something we did not get with the Xperia 1 Mark II, which I think is a reason a lot of people were waiting for the Xperia 5 Mark II, and it makes sense. It's less expensive, more feature-rich, even if it has a lower res display. I think the design is fairly sharp, and the cameras should be some of the best out there. Again, the Xperia 1 Mark II set a standard in terms of software, eye autofocus capability, really transitioning everything from Sony's digital imaging line into a handset, and it's great to see that they're doing it here with the less expensive offering. And that pretty much covers specs and everything you need to know about this. Let's see what else is in the box, and of course I'll get it set up and I'm just expecting a charger. I don't know if there are headphones in here. After all, we do have a headphone jack, and there they are. I'm not going to be using these because it's possible someone else did, and it looks like they did. A little bit of earwax over there. So I'm going to avoid these, but I do have headphones, don't worry. So I will test it out. Our wall wart right here, and then Type-C charging cable right here, which of course is Type-C to Type-C, and it is 18 watts, just as I stated earlier. So yeah, not the quickest charging on earth, but still very competent, and I'm not expecting it to take too long. So let's just see here, since I already gave you everything you need to know. Let's connect to a mobile network, which is going to be over Wi-Fi, not a mobile network, at least right now. Bear with me. I'll get this set up, and let's take a look at how quickly the phone logs and what it actually looks like. Again, I like the design of this phone. I think Sony is incredibly underrated in the marketplace right now. I want to see more devices like this from Sony. They know what they're doing. They're not new to this business, but they did fall asleep on it for a while, and I'm just glad that they're back. So we're not copying anything. I'm not going to log into my Gmail right now. I will eventually, because how else am I going to review this thing? But I really like the form factor. I think this is going to be popular for that reason, because it is really small, yet you still have a spacious display. Pricing is under $1,000, which means eventually, we should have something. I'll let them have their diagnostics. Let's see, I'll set up a pin. Actually, I'll skip that too. And let's continue. So what I was getting to was that what I really like that Sony does, besides the camera app capability, which is well within their capability because of their DI business, is their software overlay. It's basically as stock as any manufacturer gets, but then they give you the important things like the game enhancer, limiting power, or of course giving you power profiles. Really like that. The multi-window switch is nice as well. It's not a game changer, but it's something you want to have. And the fact that we now do have a 120 hertz display, that was something that a lot of you couldn't overlook about the Xperia 1 Mark II. And I get it. 120 hertz is really standard at this point. But what it's all about, in my opinion, with this device are the pro photo and video apps, because they really do give you, they're giving you the little tutorial right now, but they really do give you the most control of any camera apps that you're going to find anywhere. And, whether or not it's right for you really comes down to what you plan on doing with it, but you do still have the stock traditional photo and video capture capability, so you don't have to go into this pro app. But if you want it, the option's there, and I'd always rather have the option than not have it. And you can see the control really does mirror what you get from a Sony camera. Same goes for the Cinema Pro. Go back into landscape for that. Do people who shoot in portrait bother you? They sometimes bother me. I just feel like they don't know how to use their phones, and we can thank Apple for that, right? Oh well, not a big deal. We've got bigger problems. We're in a pandemic still. Hopefully we'll be out of it soon. We got change power, thank God. So you can see this is another part that I love about what Sony does with these devices. You've got all of your metadata, your information essentially on the right side, your resolution, your project frames per second, the look, so your profile, everything. The lens, you can switch it there and jump from one of the three. Now the transition, I'm not sure how smooth that's going to be. We're going to see, right now I'm in the studio, so I will eventually get there. But then you also see down here, we have that we're shooting in HDR in HLG, the codec H.265, 96% of battery. We have 100 gigs of storage available, and then our volume levels are just going right now. Record button right there. It's just really cool. So I'm going to spend some time with this. I'm going to get back to all of you on what I think about it. Of course, as I mentioned, you can go to the regular camera app and just shoot that way, but I assure you the results are not going to be as good as what you'll get out of the Pro apps. But they still should be good. Eye autofocus is on board. You're not going to get as good eye autofocus from any other phone manufacturer on the market. So I'm not expecting over-processed images. That's not what Sony's all about. It's quite the opposite. It's about giving you flat looks so that you can do things in post if you want to. But I like the build quality, and if battery life is solid, which from what I've read it is, then Sony may have a clear winner here for those of you who are looking for something different, but that is still well made. It's got an all-glass body, feels like it's Gorilla Glass to me, and it likely is. And it's a nice phone. I really like the Xperia 1 Mark II, and even though this design is a little bit different, I like this also. So I got to spend some time with it. Battery life will tell the tale, and the cameras, of course, because everything else here, the processor, the RAM, the storage, expandable storage, those are all pluses. And then, of course, having a headphone jack, if you still care about that. Great to still have it, and I'm glad that Sony is still doing their thing. We need manufacturers to still have their own identity, and Sony thankfully does. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.